Under course 2, we'll also be looking at types of user research, user versus end user, what are the differences between a user, end user, and a customer, how to improve your end user experience, conducting user research. But first, let's look at what user research means. What is user research? User research, in a nutshell, is a critical part of the user-centered design process. It involves gathering data and insights about the user to inform the design of digital products. So basically what we mean is, before you take on any project at all, the first thing you have to do is understand the user base. So you have to draw up certain calculations, and these calculations have to be based on the user's statement and not based on your own assumptions. And that's why you have to eliminate assumptions at every point in a product's life cycle. So what we do is run certain research, and you'll be finding out some of the types of these researches very soon. But user research is the key to the success of every product, every single product. So whatever product you're designing, whether you're doing a redesign, a new product, whatever corrections you're making, even to a single screen, user research is key. All right, so from understanding the user story, and you will be able to create a dynamic, unique, usable, and functional product at the end of the day. Let's look at the types of user research. So under type of user research, we'll be looking at several ones, and let's take a look at what this actually entails in more description. User research is typically conducted at the beginning of the design process and involves a variety of methods to gather information about the user. So this is always done at the beginning. It's the first thing you should do before actually opening your laptop, or before opening those books. You have to run certain research. You have to look at what are the goals of these users, what are their pain points, what are their frustrations. By understanding all of these things in regards to an existing product, of the same product that you want to design, you will be able to actually understand what direction to take to solve the existing problem in that existing product for your own product. And in a new product, you'll be able to understand what their competitors have done before and what you can do to make it better for their users. Because at the end of the day, the users will be the ones to use the product, and that's why they're called the users. So some of these ways of gathering information about the user include: one, surveys. This is the one that is mostly done by a whole lot of designers, a whole lot. All right, so surveys are a common method of gathering quantitative data about the user. Surveys can be used to collect information about demographics, behaviors, preferences, and attitudes. Surveys can be administered online, in person, or via emails. Now, if you're in design communities, you definitely know what we're talking about. So you must have come across certain surveys that your particular community members must have shared, asking you to feel about a certain project they are working on. And if you haven't come across them, I've come across a whole lot of them, countless numbers of surveys that have been run by my fellow designers. So this is one of the major common way for running this research. And by using surveys, what we basically do in surveys is create certain questions that are in line with the particular product that we're designing. So one of those questions will be: what are your frustrations with other products? All right, this is just a sample questions, and I'm going to throw more light on this as we proceed. 2. Interviews. Interviews are a method of gathering qualitative data about the user. Interviews are typically conducted in person or over the phone and involve open-ended questions to understand the user's needs, goals, and behaviors. In an interview, we conduct interviews through phones, and you can also move from actually putting out a survey to get into an interview stage. And this is where the user personas come to play. All right, so you can, in the last message or the last question or the last slide of your surveys, you can attach a text by saying, or a request by asking the users who will be filling this open survey to actually state or give permission or consent about them being able to have an interview with you. And in interviews, the questions are open, and that's why we said they are open-ended questions, being that this simply means on the call you can have certain questions asked without limits, and these questions come from questions to questions. So when you talk to somebody one-on-one, there are certain answers they are going to give to certain questions that would raise certain other questions. All right, but in a survey, it's tailored to the particular questions or options that you have given as a designer. So this is not the best approach to actually conducting user research. But is it a method? Yes, it is, and it works. It has proven to work over time. But interviews, which is my best, is one of the best ways to actually conduct interviews. But like I said, it's best to put it in your surveys because it might be hard to get people to actually join in on a one-on-one call or in person to actually conduct the interviews. All right, so by understanding these users' needs, their goals, and their behaviors, and when we talk about behaviors, we're talking about when you have in-person communication with that particular user, you'll be able to tell from the way they behave, the way they are moving their body movements, their eye movements, the eye contact. You'll be able to tell a lot of things about how they behave. All right, so this would also influence the answers they give. So for instance, you can ask a question that needed a yes or a no, and then obviously the user would want to say yes, but because of certain personal reasons they may want to say no. So that would guide the results that you will get at the end of the day, knowing fully well from the behaviors of the users. All right, through that interview stage, you'll be able to also learn about what this user needs and then the goals of this user for that certain product. So if you're doing a fintech product, what are the goals of this user in a fintech product, and what would they require, what would they need to have a smooth transition in this product, and then what are their behaviors while answering these questions. This would help you make informed decisions while working on the product. Let's look at the next one. Observations. Observations involve watching the user interact with the product or other similar products. Observations can provide insights into the user's behavior, preferences, and pain points. And when we talk about preferences, we're talking about certain things that the user finds more relevant to themselves in a particular product. So for instance, if I get on a product, I wouldn't want to call their names, but there are some amazing fintech products out there. Once I get there, I have certain goals that I want to achieve with that product. So other features of the product is not applicable to what I would want to do at that certain time. So there I have my certain preferences that I want to do, maybe to pay for something or to get out certain informations for another secondary task. All right, their pain points. So what are their pain points? What do they find hard in this process? So by documenting all of these steps, you'll be able to make an informed decision towards the goal of the product. Focus groups. Focus groups involve bringing together a group of users to discuss a product or a concept. Focus groups can provide valuable insights into the user's attitudes and opinions about the product. And a lot of brands do this. They organize certain focus groups, even in large numbers, and they try to test their product, test other products, and see users live use it. So they invite certain number of users. It could be virtually, it could be in person, to actually test this product and give feedback at the end of the day. Contextual inquiry. Observing users in their natural environment, such as at home or at work, to understand how they use a product in context. card sorting. So asking users to organize content or features into categories to identify patterns and preferences. We have A and B testing. This is testing two versions of a product or feature to see which performs better with users. It simply means making two different products or different functionalities and just testing both of them to see which one works better and which one is more functional and usable in the test phase. And this can be testing a certain card feature for a new product for an e-commerce platform. So the different card feature, maybe one contains add to cart and the other one contains some other information. So testing both of these functionalities, you can now arrive at a certain decision of which one works better than the other one based on the users. Analytics: analyzing user data such as website or app usage patterns to gain insights into user behavior. The insights gained from user research can inform the design of digital products in a variety of ways. For example, user research can help designers understand one, which is major, the user's needs. User research can help identify the user's needs, goals, and motivations, which can inform the design of the product. 2. The user's context. User research can provide insights into the user's environment and context, which can help designers create products that are more effective and underline useful. Last, the user's pain points. User research can identify the user's pain points, frustrations, and difficulties with the product, which can inform the design of the product to alleviate these issues. Now, in summary, user research is a very critical part of the design process that helps ensure that digital products are designed with the user, underlying user, in mind. By gathering data and insight about the user, designers can create products that are more effective, engaging, and useful. I'll see you in the next lesson.